Hello, everyone. It's Dave. I just want to take a few minutes here to take a look at what Dua Sensei has provided for your class. Let's check it out. Reading Task 1, April 8th, 2019, EAE, Level 1. Task 1, Reading. I looked at data from the American Time Use Survey from 2014, which asked thousands of people what they did during a 24-hour period. I used the data to simulate a single day for 1,000 Americans representative of the population to the minute. More specifically, I tabulated transition probabilities for one activity to the other, such as from work to traveling, for every minute of the day. The day starts with little movement, as people are asleep and won't wake up for a few hours. For most, the day starts at 7 a.m., and then it's off to the races. People head to work, run errands, do housework, take care of the kids, commute, relax, and eat at almost designated times during the day. Waking up. Between 6:30 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., most people wake up, head into personal care, such as showering and brushing teeth, and then head to work, eat breakfast, relax for a bit, and do housework. Lunch hour. From noon to 1 p.m., you see a lot of movement from work or household to eating and drinking and then back again. Many also take the time to relax. Getting off work. As you might expect, once the clock strikes 5 p.m., people head home to prepare and or eat dinner. Winding down. Between 10 p.m. and midnight, people wind down for the day, shifting from leisure to personal care and eventually going to sleep. Answer the following questions based on your reading of the above article. Then discuss this in pairs with your partner. You may write your answer in the space provided. What does off to the races mean? At what time does the workday end? The article has divided one day into how many sections, chunks, times? Task 2, based on the visual aid. Now you decide and write down all the things and activities that you would like to add in a video titled Day in the Life of. A video of Ms. Choi discuss in pairs after you are done writing your response. Things I do in a typical day. Homework and review. Write one sentence for all the words in italics in your EAE writing folder. Make a 1-minute video of yourself describing what all you do in a day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. Read pages 5, 6, 12, and 13 of Pathways Reading, Writing, Critical Thinking, 2nd edition. Article taken from www.flowingdata.com. Article written by Nathan Yao, A Day in the Life of Americans. Adapted for reading for the EAE class by Kanupriya Dua. Okay, so that was just a straight reading of everything without actually making any comments or looking at the footnotes or doing the activities. Now let's see if I can make my way through the activities. Actually, even before that, I'll take a look at the footnotes. That's probably the logical place to start. So wait, here's 2. Where's 1? Oh, okay. I use the data to simulate. And with a footnote, then you have to jump to the bottom to duplicate or copy something. So in the homework, you're going to have to make an example sentence of that. To duplicate or copy something, simulate. And number 2, more specifically, I tabulated. To arrange data in table form. Example sentence in homework. Okay. Okay. 3. probabilities. Oh, yes, wait a minute, tabulated. 3 is transition. I'm so sorry. 3 is transition. 4 is probabilities. So, transition. Change or flow from one thing to another or one time to another. Probabilities. Something that might happen, but it's not certain or sure that it will. And again, you have to make a sample sentence for homework. And then 5 is designated. 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 Definite time, for example, lunch at ICLA is designated from 11:40 a.m. till 12:40 p.m. Designated. And now we're looking for 6. 6. Leisure. 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 Oops. Leisure. To relax, to not work, to chill, winky smiley face. Okey-doke. Is there only 6? Yes, I think there are only 6. Okay, so that's great. And so these, the second portion here is comprehension questions. Wait, where's the first one? Oh, here's the first one. I'm so sorry. Answer the following questions based on your reading of the above article. Then discuss this in pairs with your partner. You may write your answer in the space below. What does off to the races mean? Off to the races. That's a good question. This is a common expression. I think it usually is used to mean let's go, like ikimashou, or for someone to get started with something. So let me see. Okay. The day starts with little movement as people are asleep and won't wake for a few hours. For most, the day starts at 7 a.m. and then it's off to the races. Yeah, then let's go. It really has a connotation of the beginning of a process that can't easily be stopped or shouldn't easily be stopped. It's not necessarily a good or bad thing, I think. In this case, it sounds a little bad, I think, because work contexts are often, thought of as kind of a hardship or in a sense, drudgery. But it could be a positive thing too. Like if you're doing a project with your classmates and you're waiting for everyone to arrive and there's one student, Yusuke, who is not there yet, and Yusuke arrives and then finally you're ready to go. You say, off to the races. Let's get moving. So I think that is a fairly good definition. The thing about slang is it's sometimes used differently in different contexts and by different people. And sometimes it's regional, like people who are from India, like Dua Sensei, who learn English their entire lives, will have slang expressions that come from the British or are translation from local expressions from other languages. In my case, I'm from Massachusetts in the United States, which is on the far East Coast, and there are slang expressions that I know and use that my friends from California or Colorado don't know and don't use. Off to the races is pretty standard though, and I think many people who use many different kinds of English will know it and use it. That's my thinking anyways. Number 2, at what time does the workday end? I think it was 5 o'clock, they said. Let me see. As you might expect, once the clock strikes 5 p.m., people head home to prepare and or eat dinner, getting off work. So this is a nice reading question. So it doesn't actually say in the passage, work ends at 5 p.m. though that's the way the question is phrased. At what time does the workday end? But in the reading, you have to understand that getting off work means the same thing as um, the workday ending. Um, and even if you cut this part, even if this wasn't here, uh, it might say, and you're reading a passage, as you might expect, once the clock strikes 5 p.m., people head home to prepare and or eat dinner. And in this case, from the context, you would have to know that it means work has ended, because generally speaking, people go home to eat dinner after work. Okay. The article has divided one day into how many sections or chunks of time? So let's see. Yep. So, so I mean, here are the headings. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So is it 4? Because there are the 4 titles. But here before it says, the day starts with little movement as people are asleep and won't wake up for a few hours. So I'm wondering if it's actually 5, and they just didn't title it. I think it's 4, but there could also be pre-waking period as well. But I would say 4, and I will let Dua Sensei tell me if I'm right or wrong. So waking up, 1, lunch hour, 2, getting off work, 3, winding down, 4. Possibly pre-waking period, because it does mention the day starts with little movement. So I don't think they're actually counting that. That's a kind of pre-category that's just mentioned. But I think Professor Dua would have put a title there, or the writer of the passage, Nathan Yao, would have put a title there if he wanted it to be considered an actual period under consideration. Okay, and task 2, based on the visual aid, and now you decide and write down all the things and activities that you would like to add in a video titled Day in the Life of. Miss Choi discusses in pairs after you are done writing your response. I think I need to look at this video. Let me check it out.
Creating great video is hard, really hard. But do you know one of the parts that sucks the most?
That's kind of an ironic commercial to be on a video that I'm making. How difficult it is to make a video.
Everything that gets...
I mean, all consumers. You guys want to say hi to everyone on YouTube? Good morning, everybody. So this is my attempt to start eating healthy, and not only healthy, but to get back on track, guys. I'm actually editing today, which feels so good. I haven't edited since forever. There's this improvement thing that my friend taught.
I like her accent. I'm not quite sure where she's from, but I haven't edited in forever. I'm curious where she grew up. So I guess this is she's just doing a day in the life, explaining her morning rituals, as we say, and the food she eats, her beauty regimen. We don't usually use beauty regimen for men. You can, but putting on various creams and cosmetics and such is traditionally something women do more than men.
Doing a few assignments, and I'm taking a break, and I'm gonna edit a video now, guys. And I forgot my earphones, so yeah, I'm going back to my dorm, and we'll be straight back to the library.
So I think I got the gist. Just a quick note, closed captioning is great. These are auto-generated, which means that an automatic software detected what this woman was saying and tried to transcribe it. It looks like that little bit was good, but at the beginning, I noticed it was quite bad, and it's sometimes quite funny and fun to watch. Let's see.
I mean, small cartooners. You guys want to say hi to everyone on YouTube?
Oh, but it recognizes music is being played. That's pretty sophisticated. Because the lung, everybody. I think she said, good morning, everybody. But even though YouTube is so sophisticated in its auto detection, it can't catch that. Well, anyways, so I think I got the gist of that. And if I can just find, where did I put, oh, here was Sensei's thing. So now you decide what to, now you decide and write down all the things and activities that you would like to add in a video titled Day in the Life of. Ms. Joy discuss, oh, okay, wait, all the things that you would like to add in a video, Day in Life of. So I'm a little bit unsure if Professor Dua is asking us to actually record what Miss Choi did, or if she's asking us to look at Miss Choi's video and think of similar things from our own life. Now you decide and write down all the things and activities that you would like to add in a video titled Day in the Life of. Video of Miss Choi discuss. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to ask her, and maybe I'll make another video about it. But it's a very interesting assignment. I think either way, describing everything that this YouTuber does is really good practice. But also looking at it as an example and creating your own list is also really great practice. And we're all supposed to write one sentence for all the words in italics in your EAE writing folder, and make a 1 or 2 minute video of yourself describing what you do in a day from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. A 1 minute video. Okay, I'll separate this off later, but I will also just leave it added on here. Sorry, there's some email. There's a picture of me. If I go to stopwatch. Okay, I'll try to make a 1 minute one from now. What I do, not just in a morning, in a day. What you do in a day from the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep. Whew. 1 minute. Wow, that's a cool challenge. Okay. So I wake up in the morning and I will use the restroom, and my wife will very frequently make me a delicious breakfast and a bento, at which time I check my email, and then or usually before I eat, I'll check my email, and then I'll put my computer away. Then I'll shower and brush my teeth and get dressed and ride my bike to ICLA, and then I say hello to the staff on the first floor of ICLA and go to my office and do preparation for class if it's not quite ready yet. And then I go and teach classes and talk to students and have fun. And then I will ride my bike home after the day is finished and have dinner with my wife and do some work and have a shower and watch some programs or read a book, and then I go to bed. 1 minute, 3 seconds, and 41 milliseconds. So something like that without planning. And read pages 5, 6, 12, and 13 of Pathways Reading and Writing Critical Thinking, 2nd edition. I think maybe I have that book in my office. I have, I think, 2 of the 4, or 3 of the 4 reading and writing books. And in the future, maybe I can make a video about that, but I don't have those pages here now to read. So anyways, that'll be the end of this video. Quite a long one, actually. But please listen to it and think about it. And hopefully, if you're in Dua Sensei's class, it will help you a little bit with the work. And I could have made sentences as well for simulate, tabulate, tabulated transition probabilities. Should I do that? I should do that, shouldn't I? Okay, so these will be example sentences. I think she will show it to you after you've done the homework, so it's not cheating for you. And this is not in an EAE official notebook because I don't have one, but I will use my, what am I using? I'm using Pages. I should be using Word. But anyways, let's see. Simulate. Simulate. So can we change the form? Are we supposed to use the exact same form? Because each word usually has different forms. So write one sentence for all the words in italics in your EAE folder. Okay, so I'll try to keep the same word. Okay, simulate. Simulate. Good example for simulate. Simulate. Okay. The virtual reality game tries to simulate what it feels like to walk on the moon. So it tries to imitate or replicate, to duplicate or copy something. To copy it or to create the same sensations of it sometimes. And the next was tabulated. Tabulated. Okay, before it wanted to correct and say lowercase, now it wants to correct and say uppercase. I don't know why. So tabulated. To arrange data in table form. In table form. Yeah, we often use this for data or information. Every year, the accountant tabulated the earnings and expenses of his company, something like that. Tabulated. Then beep 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 beep. What was 3? Transition. Transition. I keep going too far. Transition. Change or flow from one thing to another or one time to another. Transition. So why does it want to? It either wants me to have capital or not capital and keeps changing its mind. Both Dua Sensei and myself are in a state of transition as we get used to living in Yamanashi. Okay. Transition. And then, oh, probabilities, probabilities, probabilities. Yeah, probabilities are often used in mathematics, and I often think of using it in the singular, like what is the probability? And that means what is the likelihood of something. But I'm going to try and use the same form that was given on the sheet from Nathan Yao and Professor Dua. Probabilities. 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 Do not make capital. Probabilities. Because you'll say things like there are many possibilities, but we don't frequently say there are many probabilities. We say, what is the probability? What is the likelihood? So I'm going to make a very sciencey sounding one. The researcher calculated all of the probabilities for his experiment. I don't really like that sentence. I'm trying to think of a better way to use probabilities. 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 If you have difficulty using a word, a very simple thing that people sometimes do is use a Google search and see how it is being used by others in various contexts. So if you just go for a search and say probabilities. The measurement of likelihood that an event will occur. See glossary of probability and statistics. But I want it in the plural. Let me see if I put it in quotation marks. Probabilities of compound events. Probabilities. A picture of probabilities. Wow. From The Economist. A picture of probabilities. We turn to the wisdom of crowds to find out what might happen in 2019. The curious word of probabilities. The little numbers that rule our lives. Probabilities with Bayesian modeling in Python. Fluid concepts and creative probabilities. Making music when simple probabilities outperform deep learning. The simple probabilities. Probabilities calculated by the math student impressed his professor. I don't know. Later I'll talk to Dua Sensei and I'll bet you she'll tell me a sentence that's perfect for this. I'll be like, how did I not think of that sentence? But we'll stick with that one for right now. Definite time, for example, lunch at designated. Okay, designated. So yeah, designated we use meaning clearly defined or set apart. Designated. Okay. The ICLA student was scolded for not parking his bicycle in the designated area. Okay. And leisure. To relax, to not work, to chill. Leisure. There are many ways to do this. There are many compound nouns. We have leisure suit and leisure chair and leisure time. We have leisure studies. Leisure studies is when people study about recreational activities, certain sports and other things. We use adjectives like leisurely. He walks in a leisurely way, in a relaxed and unhurried way. Leisure. The extremely wealthy person lived a life of leisure. Something like that. Bill Gates could live a life of leisure if he wished, but he and his wife Melinda choose to work hard to make the world a better place through their various charitable efforts. Okay, I think this video is about 10 hours long. No, I don't have a good sense of time. I think this video is more than 30 minutes long, so I'll stop it now. And I hope that you can learn a little bit from it, and maybe it will help you to understand your work with Professor Dua and in my listening class as well. Take care now. Bye. お疲れ様でした。